When you finally get the confirmation that you're in, which is like heaven's gates are opening, flooded with light, filled with anticipation. In this video, we'll talk about what follows that high and how to deal with it to get you on to a roaring start. Let's take this apart in practical terms. Number one, foundations. The assumption for an MBA is that you have a basic understanding of perhaps economics, the dynamics of a business. Think demand and supply, what moves the curves versus traveling along them, and that you know how to use Excel. If you knew what a pivot table was, that would help. I didn't when I started. Just to do basic data analysis, and that's about it. The rest you will be introduced to when you start. Having said that, if you don't know the basics of finance, accounting, statistics, so let's say stuff that doesn't come naturally to you, then the rapid pace with which they will be covered is going to give you a headache at the beginning because you just don't have the time to let it sink in. My suggestion would be to do a search on YouTube, maybe even some basic introductory courses on Coursera or Udemy to just give you breathing space at the beginning. It's like driving a car or riding a bike. It's more fun to do road trips when you don't have to actively think about braking, accelerating, where's the indicator, but you're comfortable in your seat. And that's the point I want to suggest you get to. Be comfortable in your seat and use the period leading up to your start. This will also give you a little more time at the beginning to be social, to meet with people. The assumption is we're returning to a campus setting because that community feeling is worth a lot. Number two, know yourself. This is less about what it is that you want, what do you want to get out of this. That's a given, but assume your answer there will be different every 3 to 6 months anyway, because you learn, grow, evolve, and that is the point of your MBA journey. I think even more importantly, know yourself in how you work or function. Do you know how to study? Think environment, alone or with others, read a lot, likes to listen, likes to visualize, likes to explain to others, which as we know is when you learn best. Can you sit down for 30, 60, 120 minutes and be focused, be present with your text? What does it take to not look at your phone and social media every 4 minutes? Are you able to come up and tune into a higher level perspective where you don't drown in minute details, but see the bigger picture? Mindfulness training helps immensely in that regard, where you can identify and isolate your emotions, your state, your busyness, the noise in your head. It will also help you with developing empathy for others who are in exactly the same boat as you are. Thirdly, I'd say think critically. You are allowed to have an opinion on everything, but don't assume you know everything. Learn to ask questions, to identify what is an assumption versus a fact, learn to see biases, and most importantly, allow yourself to change your mind. You are on this journey because you don't know everything and you never will. And that is fine insofar that there is no state of having perfect knowledge or information. But as new data points come in, your interpretation changes and you arrive at a new, more comprehensive conclusion. And fourthly, I'd say, ask for help. That can happen directly or indirectly. No one will not want to help you on a journey that has positive associations for so many of us who've been there. Search out alumni, ask them about how they did this or that, what they would do differently, what they think you should pay attention to now. As for indirect help, comb through forums, Facebook groups, clubhouse sessions where people discuss housing options, dealing with student visa, how to set a budget, whether anyone is organizing the first batch of weekend trips, study groups to get ahead of the curve, dinners, even details like where to go to the gym, get your laundry done, where's the best Chinese food at 2 a.m. For all of this, don't be too hard on yourself. You're doing it because you want to add something to your toolbox, not because you've got it all figured out. So stay humble and above all, have fun.